Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am your host with a beard, and first of all I want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing and watching my videos. I have checked out my statistics a little bit, and this channel is growing faster than I would have ever dreamed, and I don't even have that many videos out yet. I think 7 or 8 or something. And this is very motivating for me to go out and find more cars to review for you guys. That being said, I've seen that about 90% of my viewers aren't subscribed to me. So go right on ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, because it's for free. And all free things are good, isn't it? And now, without further ado, let's jump right into the review. So today I am reviewing the 2021 Volvo XC90 T8 Recharge, which is their facelifted model, you can say, of the XC90 T8. It has a couple of new features. It has some styling upgrades, minor styling upgrades, because it basically looks the same from the outside especially, and a slightly larger battery because this is a hybrid model. But first, let's take a look at the exterior of this imposing vehicle. All right, here we have it, the 2021 Volvo XC90 T8 Recharge inscription trim. Immediately you can see what an imposing vehicle that is, especially in this color, which is called, let me cheat for a minute, Birch or Burke Light Metallic, which looks absolutely stunning in combination with these chrome accents on the car, chromed out grille as well. These are the full LED matrix lights, you can say, from Volvo, so the top of the line lights, and they are very bright at night. Let me show you guys. So this is basically called the Thor's hammer. It's flickering. This is the problem you get with, with recording with your phone. But they look extremely light. It looks pretty good and pretty modern as well. These are some new accents on the grille as opposed to the previous model or the non-facelifted one. These chrome accents just look so good and make the car look so expensive, which it actually is. The front grille with the front camera in it, huge Volvo logo. Here we have the charging port for the hybrid system. So you just plug it in here when you're ready to charge it. Take out that cap. Huge Pirelli tires. I think these are 20-inch, and the tires are huge, but they look so small on this car. Here we have the model, so the Recharge version. Very nice with the tinted windows. A very high vehicle. I think this is 6 foot high or something. And let's move to the back. Trademark of Volvo lights. This is truly one of the most beautiful SUVs out on the market as of yet. T8 all-wheel drive. So exceptionally well in this winter weather we're having. And this model still comes with the real exhaust pipes sticking out in the back. Volvo announced that in future models they are deleting the exhausts, which is kind of understandable because they're bringing out all electric models now, or mostly electric models and hybrid models. So in the door handles you can see the lights. When you turn on the car and it is dark, it will illuminate the floor. You also have folding mirrors and the blinkers in the mirrors. Let's take a look in the interior of the Volvo XC90 Recharge inscription. That's a whole mouthful. So the door opens very wide, as you can see right here. It's actually wider than the X5 in my opinion, but it doesn't really matter because that car also had great accessibility. Let's get in here. close the door because it's very cold. All right, so here we have, let me turn it on for a minute, the all new Volvo interior with the trademark iPad type screen in the middle. The materials used are of very high quality, especially this door handle. Wow, this feels so sturdy. You have the Harman Kardon sound system right here, which is very clear and crisp sounds because I've been listening to it all weekend long. Here we have your trunk release and the release for the fuel tank. This is a 12.3 inch gauge cluster that we have here. You can customize this. You can have your navigation right here in the middle. You can have all your fuel information, your efficiency information. It will also show you, but I will show you that later when I do the driving review, all the driver assist features that you can see right there. So this gauge you can see is different than the ones you can get in the combustion engine variants of the XC90, because here you can see the electric. So the car, when the car starts up, it's in electric mode because this is a hybrid, and here you can see how much you basically can use of the electric power. And this is the gauge. It's empty now, but I can assure you that it works just fine. The electric range is about 32 kilometers if you drive it normally. The Volvo steering wheel feels nice in your hands. Doesn't look the best, especially compared to its German rivals, but it's still of high quality. It is sturdy. It has steering heating in it in this inscription model. These buttons are gloss black. I'm not a fan of gloss black buttons or trims or any of that, but still they do the job just fine. They do feel, yeah, they feel quite expensive and upmarket. Moving to the middle console here. So this is the infotainment screen you get in the Volvos. This is the home button. So for example, if you are in navigation mode, it does take a little bit to respond. So if you want to go back, you just press this button, and then you have, and again, and then you have your menu here. This is for your settings, your owner's manual, to set different profiles. It's decently responsive, although it does lag sometimes, and especially when you are in the navigation mode. So let me show you guys. So here you have all the features of the car that you can turn on and off. So these are the safety features, your park assist, lane keeping assist, and so on. These are the cameras, so the camera settings of the car. Let me go in here, see. The camera is actually crystal clear, but I think the camera on the left side is dirty, or there are, let me clean it a little bit. Yeah, the cameras on the side are dirty from driving, so it's not that clear at the moment, but I will clean them later on as I will demonstrate what the camera can do. So if I want to go back and just press this, yes. So these are all your safety features. You can just turn it on or off like this, see, but I do suggest you keep them on at all times. Pretty decent. Average fuel consumption, don't look at that because that is just the fuel consumption I had right now from starting off at home. So this is not what it consumes. That would be a lot. The navigation screen right here. See, the navigation screen does lag a little bit. It's good. These are crisp graphics, but I think the ones in the German rivals are a tad bit better. Moving on to the middle console right here. So these are basically your settings for play, pause, and everything for your media system. And these are some of your climate control functions. Most of your climate control functions can be found in this screen as well. For example, like your heated seats. It's getting very hot here, so let me turn it off. The steering wheel right here, and then you just close it up like this. Here you go into your fan speed and temperature. So if you want to set the temperature, you can just press these buttons, or you can just hold it and swipe up and down, which is pretty handy on a touch screen. And this is how you increase the fan speed and lower it. And this is where you pick the direction of the airflow. See? Close it up. Here we go. See? The navigation screen does lag a little bit. All right. Here we are in the middle console. So when closed up, it looks like this. A very neat and simple design, in my opinion. Don't like the gloss black, once again. And then you can just open these up. It goes all the way back here. Reveals some cup holders. This is new for the recharge model, so you have a wireless phone charger here. Kind of a weird placement for it, because if you pull up, I think this can slide. It does feel rubbery, so maybe it will grip your phone. Anyways, it does the job. So this is a start stop engine button. So instead of a touch button, so a button that you press, it is a turning knob. So if you want to start the engine, you just turn it like this. See? This is where you pick your drive modes. So when you press this, then you can see in this screen. So this is pure electric, this is constant all-wheel drive. This is your hybrid drive for city driving, your power, so your sporty driving, sport mode, and this is off-road mode. In this mode, you can have the hybrid engine of the car and the combustion engine working together to release about 400 horsepower. Here we go. Nice soft touch materials on the dash. Here you can see Harman Kardon sound system again, and this is the heads-up display, which is very clear and large. Doesn't show it on the camera, but believe me, it is. Nice designed frameless rear view mirror. Looks so beautiful. These are your buttons for the panoramic roof or the open roof. So when you press it like this, the cover goes off all the way back. And then when you press it up, okay, the cover needs to close fully. Okay, when you press it up, it will close. When you pull it down, I'm sorry, when you press it up, it will open, and when you pull it down, it will close. These seats are the standard ones, full leather of course, not fully electric. You can upgrade to full electric seats with a memory function, and also even massage seats, which will cost you extra because these are optional. Overall, a very nice interior to sit in. It feels really luxurious, although not as luxurious as in the German rivals, I must say, but still for this price, this is also not as expensive as the Mercedes GLE or the BMW X5 hybrid models. Cubby space. Here you have the door bins, pretty large and deep. They will hold a large bottle and some other stuff. You have a nice little cubby space over here, which goes pretty deep inside as well. The middle console, although it's not that deep, it's of decent size, but it's not extremely deep. And also I would like this to open, you know, like with the split middle, that it opens like this, because when you're driving and you have to open it like this, it's a bit annoying, but hey. One other function that is worth mentioning is this is the glove box, but when you look around, you can't open it. There's no press feature or anything. So how do you do it? Well, in the middle console, you have this button. When you press it, it opens up. It's kind of weird. I don't know why they did it, because when there's something wrong with the battery of the car and there is some important files or something in there, you can't open it. So a lever right here would have been handy, but I think they do have some solutions to open it when the battery fails. All right, let's get into the back of the car to check passenger space there. Again, very wide opening door, so the back is easily accessible. Let's get inside. Close the door. Very sturdy feeling doors, so you feel that you're in an expensive car. All right, the seat is currently in my driving position. Plenty of knee room. You can put your feet under there if you want to stretch your legs, and you can even slouch back to take a rest or something. Enough room right here. Let me show you the headroom. So as you can see, more than enough headroom. People over 6 foot will be just fine. Even though this has a panoramic roof and it eats in the headspace a little bit, you will be just fine here. All right, so moving to the middle seat, we see that, well, it's a bit difficult. Okay, we see that as opposed to the other vehicles in his class, the transmission tunnel is a bit large here because of the 4-wheel drive system. But it's still good, and you got like this plastic trim on here that you can put your feet on. So you will be all right here. Not exactly meant for large adults, but still it's pretty fine. The seat that I'm sitting on is a separate seat as well. So you have like 3 separate seats here, but it's a bit narrow and it sits a bit harder than the seats on the left and the right. You have a nice touch screen here, which is the climate control in the back. So, you know, to put your fan speed, and this is to increase your temperature and to decrease it. Got the vents right here. Some netting over here. Some door bins on the left and the right. So as you guys probably already know, this is a 7-seater. So let me demonstrate the space that you have in the rear 2 seats back there. So you just pull this seat forward a little bit. It's a bit heavy. It's a bit tricky to get in. Oh my God. Wow. Oh. All right. So I am sitting here. Let's pull the seat back. Yeah, it's definitely smaller than in the row in front of it, but it's not too bad. I still have a little bit of knee room here, and headroom. Headroom, as you can see, is still decent. People over 6 foot will be struggling a little bit, but then again, it's not meant for large people in here. It's for kids or young adults, and they will be just fine here because these seats are actually nice and comfortable, and I think these are better than in its rivals because space here is pretty decent. You also have some cup holders to the left and to the right. Here, these are the vents. So, and these are the speakers. So this Harman Kardon sound system has 19 speakers scattered all around the car. All right, so obviously the boot is fully electrically operated through the key. Just press this button, if I can make it work. There we go. Opens up nice and wide and reveals a large trunk space with these 2 seats folded down, that is. The battery here does eat in a little bit into the boot space, but it's still plenty of room, and it's pretty high up, so you can stack stuff, boxes and stuff like that. And if you need even more room, then you can recline these 3 seats as well. And of course, press this button and it closes fully automatically. There we go. All right, now let's get this car on the road and see how it drives. So when you start it up, obviously as in any hybrid, you don't hear the engine start up because it starts off in electric mode. And it's very sophisticated. The sound insulation is decent. You do still hear some noise from the outside. These mirrors are pretty large, and the wheels. But it's a nice and relaxing ride. The suspension is nice, soft, it soaks up the bumps really well. That being said, if you're on a really bumpy road, you do kind of feel the shocks and the bumps and everything, but the road has to be in really bad condition for that to happen. But on streets like this, it's just nice. I'm just driving, wafting along actually, and the four-wheel drive is actually gripping nicely on the road. There is a significant amount of body roll in the bends, which is to be expected. So the Volvo XC90 T8 has a 2-liter petrol engine, 4-cylinder of course, paired with a electrical motor. You have actually two motors, one on the front axle that works together with the combustion engine, and one on the rear axle. And that is the one that propels you forward when you are using electric mode or hybrid mode. And together they make for a combined output of 400 horsepower. It's like 390 horsepower or something like that, and 640 newton meters of torque, which is a lot actually, especially considering that this vehicle is about 2,200, 2,300 kilograms. And when you floor it, you actually go, the engine is noisy, especially when it's cold, and you do feel that it is a 2-liter instead of a 6-cylinder 3-liter engine, which would be better in this car, but still the power delivery is smooth and effortless, which is strange because before I drove this car, I got this car from Volvo Belgium, so this is a press car with all the trims and all the nice options on it. And before I got this car, I was kind of skeptical because I didn't know if the 2-liter engine would be adequate for a car this size. But paired with the hybrid engine, this is plenty of power, and obviously these cars are not going to be used for racing or sporty driving or anything, so you don't really need more than 400 horsepower in this type of vehicle. And overtaking power is, look, it's just flawless. But again, a 3-liter would be even better because the engine is smoother, and you definitely do feel that this is a 2-liter. Compared to its rivals, the GLE 350 hybrid and the X5 45e now, this car is way less expensive. It's still expensive though. I think this model, the car that I have, comes in at about or between 85 to 88,000 euros, so all taxes included and everything, with all these options in it. And it is very expensive, but not as expensive as the X5 or the GLE, which will in new form will cost you over 100,000 euros with all these options that you have here included in those cars. So this is a nice, less expensive alternative for those German brands. You don't have quite the insane amounts of luxury you have in those models, but to be honest, you don't need that. You know, all you need is to have a nice relaxing ride with decent safety features, which Volvo is known for. And this car does have. It has lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control. It constantly scans the road around you at lower speeds to see if there are not any passengers, cyclists or other cars around you. And if somebody was to jump right in front of you, all of a sudden it would immediately brake or react in some way. That being said, this touchscreen is kind of distracting when you're driving, because Volvo, being a brand that holds safety and security so high, should have thought about that actually, because okay, the buttons are large enough, so the climate control I can just swipe like this, but you do have to take your eyes off the road a little bit. And although for some people it might not be a deal breaker, for me it would be, because I do like climate controls that, at least the climate controls that are physical buttons, and maybe something to consider in future models of Volvo. That's also why I'm not really into the Audi models, because they're all moving to full-on touch screens. Okay, they have haptic feedback, but it's not the same as just keeping your eye on the road and just feeling down here and you know where the buttons are and everything. So it's a little bit worrying in my opinion, but hey, these cars do sell great, and there are not a lot of accidents happening with the XC90s because the safety features are really, really great. You definitely do feel that you are driving a big vehicle. It is heavy and it is boxy, of course, as we are used to from Volvo, but it is very static. It does have quite the road presence. If you would set this car next to an X5 or a GLE, it would hold its own really well and it would fit in so well between those cars. It is also extremely beautiful, especially from the front, very imposing from the back, and still the trademark Volvo design. So another function worth mentioning in this car is the regenerative braking function. So when you put the drive selector into the B position, then you can regenerate or recharge the battery as you let go of the throttle. So take a look at the gauge cluster, and as soon as I let go of the throttle, the needle goes into the recharge section, and you see a little battery symbol right there. So that means that at this moment the battery is recharging through brake energy, and I don't even have to brake for that. I just have to let go of the throttle. And this function is available in more and more cars, obviously, but it is worth mentioning every single time because it can be a huge help to recharge just that little bit of battery that you would need later on. Visibility in the XC90 is decent. You have a pretty large rear window there, and it's kind of flat, so it isn't sloped, so you can see pretty well from this rear view mirror. All-round visibility is good. You have large windows everywhere. That C-pillar back there does obstruct the view a little bit, but overall it is good. It is a high vehicle, so you set up really high. You have a good visibility over the road right in front of you and to the left and to the right. Back there, it can be a little tricky to see if you are looking at objects that are lower than the car, but then there comes the 360-degree camera into play, which is really crisp, clear, and provides you of all the visibility around the car. So for squeezing in and out of tight spaces, for maneuvering through alleyways and tight roads, this car won't have any issues at all as some of its rivals without these features in it. Safety features are abundant in this car. As I said before, this car has full adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, active lane keep assist, so it will just follow the car in front of you. It will keep you in lane, so you can let go of the steering wheel for about 10-15 seconds before it starts to beep at you, and it will come to a full stop when you're at the red lights and then start off again when the car in front of you moves. And this is an ideal car for commuting between work and home, or if you're daily in traffic jams. Fuel consumption, well, if you combine the petrol engine with the electro motor, then you will have a decent fuel economy. I think I average around 3 to 4 liters per 100 kilometers when I used a hybrid mode throughout the city. If you're using just the petrol engine, then with normal driving you can manage around 8 to 9. I think I was around 11 or something, but then again I was testing it out, a bit of sporty driving as well, and I did floor the throttle a couple of times. But anyways, this is a car you have to use in combination with a hybrid system. Otherwise you need to get a diesel, one of the D5 versions of the car. A petrol engine is going to be quite thirsty. So what is my final verdict about this car? Well, it is a very pleasant car to drive. It is very luxurious, although not on the level of its German rivals, but that's also because it's about 20,000 euros cheaper than those cars. But still, the finishing is quite on par with any other car on the market. It is really luxurious inside here. The materials are very expensive and very luxurious. You have all the newest tech, you have all the latest safety features. This car can park parallel, perpendicular parking, active lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control as I am using right now, and a whole other plethora of technological features in this car. It is roomy, it is a very large SUV, no problem dropping off your kids at school, taking them to soccer practice and doing your groceries because the boot is really large. I personally bought a table which was almost 2 meters long in the weekend, and I put it in the back and it just fit with no problem at all. I did have to recline the rear seats though, but still, very large car. If you're mainly going to commute between work and home and do mostly city driving, then this car is ideal. I think you should at least go outside and test drive this car to see what the differences are between this car and its rivals, and make up your mind after that. Anyways guys, this was it for today. I hope you had a great time watching my review. It was informative, and if you have any questions or remarks, put it down in the comments. Until then, I'll see you next time, and drive safely.